Hey all! The new pet battle dungeon from Blackrock Depths is out. Yay! So I've put together a complete walkthrough guide for the challenge mode, and of course can be used on normal mode too. I'm Trailwood with Rindar Gaming, and let's get started! Oh, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button down below. To start, head to your faction's pet battle quest giver. Reddick Fuselock for the Horde, he's located here. And Tizzy Gearjolt for the Alliance, she's located here. Pick up the quest for Shadowy Showdown. Like the other dungeons, completion of the other previous pet battle dungeons is required to be able to see the quest. So make sure you have those done first. Mana Poof will give you a teleport to the dungeon after the normal mode completion. It's an awesome port for the hardies to get around Eastern Kingdoms. There isn't really that many of them. Anyways, head out to the Blackrock Mountain. If you have the Dire Brew remote, it's a great time to use it now. If you don't have the Dire Brew remote, once inside the lava-filled mountain, head down to the Molten Core and Blackrock Depths entrances. You will meet Bert Macklin just outside of the Blackrock Depths dungeon entrance. Before we head in, it may be helpful to have a few pets ready to go. They will all need to be level 25 before heading in to confront these shadowy figures. You will need the Macabre Mariante. A Day of the Dead pet, he can be found on the auction house for about 5k on most US servers. Little Bling. He's a drop from the Blingtron gift packages, or you can buy him on the auction house. Usually he's not very expensive. The knockoff Blingtron, he drops from 6k plus Blingtron gift packages, or on the auction house. The prices vary so widely on the auction house for this guy. He goes from 1 million to 200 gold. If you're on one of those servers where he's ridiculously priced and you just can't get a hold of him, use a second Little Bling. I chose to use the knockoff simply because I need Little Bling in another fight and don't like to require using duplicates in these battles. You will also need an Iron Starlet. He's a reward from the completion of the Dark Portal to Draenor questline, and of course you can find him on the auction house. The Fire Beetle. He's a wild-caught pet from Blasted Lands, Burning Steeps, Mount Hyjal, Searing Gorge, and Ungoro Crater. The Lava Beetle. These two can actually be interchanged if you need to, or if you have two Lava Beetles or two Fire Beetles, however it works out for you. The Lava Beetle is a wild-caught pet from the Burning Steeps. A Ravenous Prideling. He's a drop from the Grand Empress in the Heart of Fear. Can be caged and sold on the auction house, so you can find him there if your RNG is not very lucky. Two bunnies. I suggest the Noble Garden Bunny for the set speed breed, but if the Noble Garden Bunny isn't available, anything faster with 333 speed will work. The second one can be any. A good balance one works nicely. You will also need Fowfeather, a drop from Plague Feather in the BFA Warfront Arathi Highlands. Icky, good old Icky. What is a pet battle strat without having Icky in it? He drops from a short quest line in Spires of Iraq. You can also find him on the auction house. The Giggling Flame. He's a random drop from Islands or can be bought on the auction house. My server, he goes for about 30 gold. On average, he can be found for less than 500 on most servers. I'm using him simply because he's the least costly to buy on the auction house, but the Algem of Destruction, the Magma Rageling, and the Shard of, I don't even know how to say that, Krunth, would also work here. An Imperial Silkworm. He is a drop from the Tailoring Daily in Panda, and he can be found on the auction house for around 150 to 500 gold, depending on your server. The Fetish Imp, a drop from Illahoof in the Karazhan Raid. If your RNG luck isn't that great, he can be found on the auction house for about 1k to 11k, depending on your server. You'll also want to get a Gazrookie. He's a rare drop from the Northern Baron activities. He can be found on the auction house, but depending on the server, he can be slightly more expensive side, anywhere from 100k to 2k. You will also need an Elusive Skimmer. This guy can be found as a wild-caught pet in Nesmir. Make sure the breed on this guy is a health power or health speed. I have a speed breed, which causes some RNG issues with the fight, but with some additional testing, the health breeds are much more reliable. Although the fight was nerfed and the speed breeds are okay, I still suggest using a health breed. The Zandalari is Shin Chomper. This guy can be bought from Happy Hula for 50 polished pet charms. You'll also want to pick up a Chitterspine Skitterling, a wild caught pet from Nesmere, and I swear they make some of these pets so they're their tongue twister names. A Dark Moon Tonk. He's purchasable from the Dark Moon Fair or the auction house. And last, an Accursed Hexer. He's a polished pet charm hidden pet, purchasable for 500 charms from Shoik, Blind Wuja, or Dodger. I'll link the detailed video on how to attain him in the description below. He can also be found on the auction house, but usually for a pretty copper. If the Hexer just isn't an option, the Crazy Carrot or Brute are also good options, but both make for a very long fight. Once you're ready, go talk to Bert, and he'll kill you for the instance.
The hero has arrived. I warned you that I'd predicted your next 4 moves. We've all been waiting for you.
I see you finally decided to visit our base of operations. Unfortunately, you're far too late. My elite team has collected everything we need to construct a weapon beyond imagination. Haru, greet our guest.
As I told you back in the Wailing Caverns, I'm not much of a fighter, but I am the best pet trainer on Azeroth. Who do you think came up with Black Claw and Hunting Party?
Once inside, unlike the rest of the dungeons, there is no trash pets that you need to take out. You just head straight into the ring and start your challenge. So our first challenger is Haru Cloudwatcher. You will need your Macabri Mariante with the Macabri Maraca and Dead Man's Party. You'll also need Knockoff Blingtron with Inflation and Make It Rain. Unless you have 2 little blings, do not use little bling here. For your third pet, just use a good mechanical that has a decent mechanical ability, like Batter or Haywire. To start off, we're going to use Dead Man's Party. Gonna let that run its 3-round course. We're gonna get that Shattered Defenses up on there, and then we're gonna use the Macabri Maraca. Then the next pet comes in. We're going to use Dead Man's Party again. By the time he's done with this, our little guy will probably be dead. We're going to pull in Little Bling as soon as he dies off here. We're going to use Make It Rain. Actually, knock off Blingtron, not Little Bling. Make It Rain and then Inflation. We're going to let those 2 continue. We're just going to keep Make It Rain and Make It Rain. We're going to keep Make It Rain up and use Inflation when we can here. Makes for a quick work of a fight here.
Hey! I told you not to hurt a hair on my sweet Tauren's head! Haru! Are you okay?
Yes, but this outcome should have been impossible. That strategy always wins. Oh, I am at a loss.
It's no surprise you won. We all know Haru would lose a
So
fight
the next
against
battle
a
up
strong
will be one of
breed.
3 random pets.
Perhaps
You'll have
this
Liz,
will
Rampage,
occupy
or
you.
Ralph. The Stream Strat works for all 3 of these guys. The Island Starlet with Wind Up, Powerball, and Supercharge. with a good backup pet. I'm using a good mechanical pet that has the ability like Iron Fist, Screeching Gears, or Haywire. So to start off, we're going to wind up. If you get stunned, go ahead and pass. We're going to wind up again. Supercharge. And wind up one more time. Now some of the other pets you'll be able to get 2 wind-ups off. With this guy, we don't have enough life left, so we're going to go Powerball until our Iron Starlet is dead. I'm going to bring in one of my other pets here. Just use a couple of those good mechanical abilities. And it should kill him off. This is as close to trash as we're going to get in this dungeon. Use my cute little Brutus from the Mechagon dungeon.
You entertain me.
Okay.
Theron, what are the odds that this hero succeeds?
Exactly 1 in 4,986.
That's oddly specific.
I have also calculated that I have a 100% chance to destroy this feeble-minded plebeian.
It's plebeian, you...
Next up is Theron the Sky Song.
Just handle them.
So for Theron, we're going to use a Fire Beetle with the health breed here. We're going to use Burn, Cauterize, and Apocalypse. On our Prideling, we're going to use Seethe, Disruption, and Life Exchange. On my Noble Garden Bunny here, he's a speed breed. We're going to use Flurry, Dodge, and Burrow. Now this fight was recently nerfed, so your fight might end up a little bit off from here, but the basics are still the same. So we're going to do Apocalypse, and then we're going to switch in with a Ravenous Prideling. We're going to use a Disruption, and then immediately use Life Exchange. Then we're going to Seethe. And we'll sieve right up into our Prideling dies. After the nerf, my Prideling was able to take this guy out easily by himself. So we're going to continue with Seethe until he dies. We're going to bring in our bunny. And make sure you have your bunny out when this next pet comes up. So we're going to use Dodge, and then Flurry, and Flurry some more with a Burrow. So we're going to dodge as soon as this guy comes out. And he's going to auto switch our pets out here for us. So when your seedling dies, make sure you bring in your bunny. They're going to switch out, bring in your Fire Beetle, use Cauterize, and then Apocalypse will hit. And burn until Math is dead. Easy fight.
Theron, what happened to 100%?
Like I said, I predicted their next 4 moves. This is all part of my plan.
Haru, open the rest of the cages. Everyone else, team meeting.
Next up, we're against 2 caged creatures. For Char, Temten, and Wilbur, we're going to use Icky with Savage Talon, Black Claw, and Flock, and a rabbit with Scratch, Dodge, and Burrow. Have your third pet just something that's good, probably against undead because the spider is the hardest one. So against Wilbur here, we're going to use Black Claw, and I'm going to use the same thing against the rest of them. Flock, when Flock is over, go ahead and use Savage Talon. Now if you get the spider one, she can be the hardest one. You'll use your rabbit as backup. You use dodge, flurry, burrow. For the next pet here, Nin, Shred, and Splint, we're going to use Foul Feather with Peck, Black Claw, and Flock. You also have a Giggling Flame with Immolate, Flame Jet, and Configurate. Just make sure the last pet is a good pet to use, level 25. So we're going to use Black Claw and Flock. So this set, Ninja here, is probably the hardest of them, in my opinion. So if he kills off your Foul Feather, bring in your Giggling Flame, and use Flame Jet. It'll be same for the other two. If Flame Jet doesn't take them out, use Configurate and Immolate until they do die.
Okay, everyone remember the new plan? Alron, you're up.
Alron do this, Alron do that. She's always ordering me around. When I win, I'm taking a vacation.
So our next challenger is Alaran Hearthshade. This flight just plain sucks. This was the most reliable strat that I could find, so we're going to use the Imperial Silkworm with Consume, Sticky Goo, a Lava Beetle with Burn, Cauterize, and Apocalypse. The Fetish Imp with Seer Magic, Immolate, and Nethergate. So this guy was recently nerfed too, but the fight is still the same. So we're going to use Sticky Goo. And we're going to immediately switch to our Lava Beetle. We're going to use Apocalypse, and we're going to switch back to our Imperial Silkworm. We're going to use Sticky Goo here until there is 8 rounds left on Apocalypse. Let's continue with the Sticky Goo. There is some other pets that use Sticky Goo, but the Imperial Silkworm is the only one that has a 4 round of its Sticky Goo. The rest are only 2, so you have to use the Imperial Silkworm here. So we're going to use Consume when Apocalypse hits 5 rounds. And we're going to switch in for the Fetish Imp, and we're going to use Seer Magic. While he's stunned, we're going to pass, and then we're going to Nethergate. That brings in Rudy. We're going to switch in for your Lava Beetle. Apocalypse should hit here. We're immediately going to switch back to our Imperial Silkworm and use Sticky Goo. We're going to do that twice, and then we're going to switch to our Lava Beetle. We're immediately going to use Cauterize, and then put our Apocalypse back out. So we're then going to switch back to our Imperial Silkworm, and we're going to use Sticky Goo until Apocalypse hits 9. Now, if your enemy imp here is getting low, you can continue to pass. You need to use Consume, or not Consume, but Sticky Goo until it says 9. You can use Consume if you need a heal when it has 5 rounds left. When there's 5 rounds left, swap to your Fetish Imp and immediately use Nethergate. So your Apocalypse is going to hit here. We're just going to connote and pass with your Imp until he dies. If Apocalypse hits, great. If not, bring in your Beetle. Use Cauterize. And you can pass or throw Burnout until Apocalypse hits. Your Imp should come back in. Go ahead and use Cauterize. Burn until he dies. He shouldn't have a whole lot of life left, especially after the nerf.
Well, at least that's over. Someone else can do the work now. I'm taking 5.
Alron is whining again. How unexpected! I need more time to finish charging this thing!
You are beginning to annoy me. Zuna, crush our guest.
My pets are the strongest! I am the
So our next fight here is Zuna Skullcrush. She too was nerfed recently, but the fight is still the same. So we're going to use Gazriki with Bite, Swallow You Whole, and Geyser. You're going to need the Elusive Skimmer, with Water Jet, Stampede, and Whirlpool. The Zandalari Shin Chomper with Claw, Haunting Party, and Aurora of Gonk. To start off, we're going to use Geyser. We're immediately going to switch to our Elusive Skimmer. We're going to use Whirlpool. And follow that up with a Stampede. Fosling should come in. And then Water Jet should kill him off. We're going to Stampede as soon as Crush Face comes back in. And our Skimmer should die off here. We're going to bring Gazriki back in. We're going to Bite. Swallow You Whole. When the last guy comes in, use Geyser. If you can get a Swallow You Whole or a Bite in, do so. Gazriki dies off. We're going to bring in our Shin Chomper. We're going to use Aurora of Gonk. And then a Haunting Party. Follow that up with a Claw. The first one doesn't kill him off. The second one should. Of course, my second one doesn't. My third one does. With the nerf, it should only take 1 or 2.
How is this possible? I trained every day for years. I followed the guide. Fosling is literally made of rocks. And it heals
Next up is Tasha Riley.
My team should be practically unkillable.
Pixie, how much more time do you need?
63% charged!
63.8% to be exact.
Hey, Theron! I bet you didn't predict this!
Enough bickering. I'll buy you some time, Pixie. Finish your work.
For her, we're going to use the Chitterspine Skitterling. With Skitter, Black Claw, and Swarm. You're going to need Little Bling here with Inflation, Extra Plating, and Make It Rain. You also want the Dark Moon Tonk with Shock and Awe and Iron Cannon.
Hey there.
So to start this fight, Black Claw. Followed up with Swarm. By the time Swarm plays out, this Presto guy should be dead or in his undead round. In his undead round, you can pass. I'm going to use Skitter here because I like to use an ability. Pass makes it go faster. If you can get a Black Claw off on this next guy, do so. He'll probably die as soon as you do that, though. So we're going to little bling in. We're going to use extra plating. And then make it rain. Followed up with inflation. I'm going to refresh our Make It Rain here. And our extra plating. And then use inflation. When Glitzy comes out, refresh your Make It Rain and use inflation until Little Bling dies. As soon as he dies off, bring in the Tonk. Use Shock and Awe. And then Iron Cannon.
Pixie, you had better be done.
100%! My masterpiece is fully operational!
Pixie Whizzle
We've
and
spent
her
years working
abomination
on
here
that.
It might not be
are
pretty,
our
but it
next
packs a punch.
enemies.
Fine. Prove it.
So the Accursed Hexer is one that I'm going to use here. The Crazy Carrot and Brute also work. I would not suggest using them all in the same team though. So Chaos Beam, Drain Blood, and Weakness are what we're going to use. If you choose to use the Crazy Carrot, Iron Bark and Blistering Cold are what you're going to need. Brute is Iron Bark, Photosynthesis, and Sunlight. So to start, we're going to use Weakness. Chaos Beam. We're going to Drain Blood. Weakness again. Chaos Beam. Weakness again. Drain Blood. Weakness. Chaos Beam. Weakness. Drain Blood. Weakness again. We're going to continue this for quite a while. Chaos Beam. Weakness again. Followed up with a Drain Blood. Weakness. Chaos Beam. Weakness. Drain Blood. Weakness. Chaos Beam. And use Weakness again. Drain Blood. Weakness. And a Chaos Beam. Weakness. and drain blood. Just continue like that until he dies. Now if you're using Crazy Carrot, you would keep Blistering Cold and Iron Bark up, switch in between. With Brute, you would use
Improbable development.
Photosynthesis, Sunlight, and filled in with Iron Bark. They will both eventually kill him off, but they do take a very long time.
Useless.
So if you talk to Tasha Riley, she will invite you to join the Council of Chaos, which gives you a title Minion of Mayhem. Or if you choose not to, you can come back at any time and rejoin. I felt like this was the most anticlimactic dungeon ever, not that any of them are extremely exciting, but for being the last dungeon of the expansion, didn't feel real exciting. There is no port out, but rather than hearthing, you can use your instance eye teleport out of the dungeon, but make sure you've completed all the requirements for the quest before doing so, as it will reset as soon as you leave the instance. As a side note, if you have some issues during the dungeon challenge mode and really need to heal your pets, it is possible to log out of a character in the instance, quickly log into another toon that has pet battle bandages, use it, quickly log back out of that character and into the character in the instance. Most of the time, your character hasn't actually logged out of game and will still be there. The dungeon won't have reset quite yet, but it requires to be done very quickly. If you have bad latency, I would definitely not do that, but it might be worth a try if you're going to have to reset the dungeon anyways. So the Shadowy Disguised Toy is the reward from the achievement Pet Battle Challenge Blackrock Depths, and the achievement Shadow Reveals rewards the Mayhem Mind Meddler toy. Both pretty cool. If you talk to Burt Macklin again, he'll turn in the quest to gain the Shadowy Gem currency to buy the pet rewards from Burt. You can get the Wailing Lasher, the Tiny Claw, and the Experiment 13 after 6 runs through the dungeon. All pretty cool little pets. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and hit the thumbs up. Every little bit helps. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.